Hello, everyone, and welcome back to JaianMusic Notes. I'm your host, JaianMusic, and in this episode, we're going back. Way back when I was just a small YouTube channel. I mean, it's still a pretty small YouTube channel, but an even smaller YouTube channel back then. And we're going back to one of my oldest piano covers. Nir's theme from Death Note. It's minimal, cerebral, and weirdly unsettling as a piece of music. Just like Nir himself. And this episode is not only about how the music was made, but how the tension came in, how Nir is a very logical character, his precision, his accuracy. What you're about to listen to when you listen to that cover, I really recommend, linked in the description, is my attempt to mirror Nir, not just as a character, but as an idea. The unnerving calm that follows L's passing. Spoiler alert. So, before we dive into this cover, I want to give a big thank you to Laser Audio Technologies. As a composer, as a sound designer, the tools I use shape the emotion I deliver. And Laser makes high-quality plugins and audio tools that are intuitive, inspiring, and reliable, such as Fram and Glow, perfect for ambient music, electroacoustic music, and designing all sorts of incredible sounds. If you're an audio creator, look to elevate your mixes and your sounds with Laser Audio Technologies. And you can use code JaianMusic at checkout to get 30% off your purchases. Every dollar generated from that code goes back into the podcast, such as GoPro Kyo, who does all of the artwork. His links are also in the description. So, to understand Nir's theme, we first need to understand Nir himself. In the second half of Death Note, the lesser half of Death Note, if you ask me and a lot of fans' opinions, after L passes away, two successors emerge, Mello and Nir. While Mello embraces chaos and risk, Nir is cold and calculated. He's a boy of few words and has even fewer emotions, with a very dangerous mind. And he leads from shadows. He leads from the shadow. His demeanor borders on robotic, but he isn't devoid of personality. Rather, it's just like a personality reduced to logic. And the song here was composed by Hideki Tanyuchi, which I spoke about with Kudus Gordon on our Death Note episode, and Yoshihisa Hirano. This isn't a theme that invites you in my opinion. It pushes you away. It whispers instead of singing. It's built around sparse piano lines that are oddly phrased melodically and placed even more oddly, in my opinion. The piece never has a resolve. It's just like Nir. It lingers in your head. It's unsettling. Like, think of the very first time Light Yagami gets that call from Nir and he says, "Hello, L number 2." And Light right away is like, "What is this feeling?" And you hear the Nir theme. It's just unsettling and quite brilliant, if you ask me, just like Nir himself. While L's theme has more of an intellectual flair, Nir's is the opposite. It's chilly, it's distant, but it's completely in control. The theme reflects Nir's clinical approach, detached, deliberate, and very calm. Nir's theme is just memorable for the moments it's used in. It supports the character and the story so well. Just like the example I gave when Light gets that call. It's worth noting that despite Nir's youthful appearance and calm voice, he is arguably more dangerous than L and Light because he ultimately defeats Light. And he believes utterly in justice, and he sees everything as a puzzle, and he solves the puzzle. No drama, no Mello shenanigans, although Mello is very key in making sure he gets his hand on the Death Note and everything. So let's talk about my cover of it. This cover holds a really special place to me because it was one of the very first covers I ever arranged and put out onto the internet. If you listen to it, you'll see that The instrument patches I'm using, the mixing, the production is definitely not as good as what I can do now. I mean, I improve over the time, obviously. But rather than embellishing the piece at the time, I chose to recreate it as a solo piano cover that reflects both the music and the emotional ambiguity of it. The melody and note choice. Obviously, the original melody is very bizarrely structured, in my opinion, with descending phrases and these sort of offbeat entrances and unsettling pauses while another musical phrase keeps talking, the other one stops. It's really weird, but it's really cool. Instead of like it feels like the melody is almost thinking as it plays, exactly how Nier moves as a character. I keep this phrasing intact and added subtle performance flourishes with like shifts in velocities and micro delays to humanize it. You know, I spoke a lot about humanization on the last episode. Every single MIDI note here was humanized and tweaked with its velocity to simulate more softness and presses on the piano. And some notes are slightly late, others gently ahead. So it creates a naturally imperfect groove that mirrors Nier, in my opinion. When it comes to the reverb and the atmosphere, because, you know, I'm a fan of that, I kept this version of purely acoustic. I did just a small, like, room reverb send here that mimics, you know, a really simple lab, a very simple room, and gives each note a little ghostly trail, like very short decay. And I didn't want to interpret this theme. I wanted to reflect it. I wanted someone to hit play and almost think that it was the actual original. Sometimes I have this approach with certain covers, and they tend to be my covers that do better in streams, but I don't want that to be the only thing that I go for. So I just wanted to honor Nier as a character. It's a mirror held to his mind. You don't need like a big orchestral version of this thing. It's Nier. It's simple. So in conclusion, I just want to thank everyone for listening to this episode. I strongly encourage you to go listen to the cover I made, so you can really get the idea of what I was going for here. This cover was about restraint and understanding a character through what they say and how they are. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who loves anime music, or someone who loves Death Note or weird piano compositions. And as always, you know, go stream the full version. Just look up JaianMusic. All of the links for that are in the description. A big thank you to Laser Audio Technologies for sponsoring. They're linked in the description. Use code JaianMusic for 30% off. Go follow GoProKyo. Linked in the description. Does all of the artwork for the podcast. I am not JaianMusic on social media. JaianMusic Notes. Look it up on your favorite podcatcher. And my website is JaianMusic.com. So thank you, everyone. And I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.